Hey everyone, Pat here. I'm a senior developer at Base, and today I want to talk about what is Base from a non technical, sort of normie point of view. So, the first thing I want to discuss is that Base is Ethereum. And so, if you can just take that as the foundation to our discussion, um, we can start to unpack one, what Ethereum is, the problems it has, and why Base is designed to solve those issues. And we are working to solve those issues. So, what is Ethereum? Ethereum is a smart contract platform, which is essentially a place to build decentralized applications, or what we call on chain applications. An on chain application is an application that doesn't need anyone's permission to run, and no one needs permission to use those applications. Put differently, on chain applications are what we call permissionless. So, let me give you an example of a permissioned application. Coinbase.com. We all know it, we love it, and it's the most trusted exchange in existence today when it comes to cryptocurrencies. To get a Coinbase account, you must provide ID, be verified, and given permission to access these services of Coinbase. No one calls them centralized applications, but even things like Twitter, Facebook, these are all permissioned applications because you can get banned, etc. And so now that we have an understanding of sort of like a permissioned application, we can dive into permissionless applications. But let's first talk about the problems of Ethereum, right? Because these applications exist on Ethereum. So why have layer twos? Well, one of the first things is that to build an on-chain application, you need a blockchain that allows anyone to update the state of that blockchain. This is done through wallets or private keys, right? And so the two biggest things are going to be gas fees and transactions per second. Gas fees are kind of like the fees that you pay the toll in order to cross a bridge or to when you're on the highway. It's come as you are, but just pay the fee. And the fee that you pay a blockchain is the cost to update the state or to change information on chain. So me sending money to Bob is changing the state of the chain. This is a record that is recorded on chain. Okay, and so I need to pay a fee for that. In the real world, if we talk about some real world applications of blockchain, if I were to borrow money from a platform, if I were to mint my deed on chain, if I were to update my base name's profile on chain, that would be transactions as well. So I'm changing the state on chain. The other thing is going to be transactions per second. How much throughput or how much can a blockchain take every second? So when you think about, let's just take like Facebook, for example, that is running on cloud and servers, and even just within this last 5 seconds, there's probably 100,000 likes that just happened, right? There's probably 200,000 videos uploaded or whatnot. I'm just making up numbers, right? But it was able to handle all of that concurrently, and today, if you look at Ethereum, it's at about 13 transactions per second. And if you know the if you're trying to build a global on-chain economy, you know, 13 transactions per second isn't gonna move the needle. Okay, and that's what Base is focused on. It's focused on bringing these transaction fees sub penny, and it's increasing the amount of transactions per second. If we look at Ethereum again, we see that a couple of these actions like swapping, NFT sales, bridging, borrowing, all range between about $2 and $5 and $10. And if you were around, last year, a couple years ago, you also know that these could be hundreds of dollars as well. When it comes to Base and these L2s, you'll see that it's coming in sub penny. And we're going to see some real world examples of that right now. So let's talk about this. Right now I'm on an application, an on-chain application called Uniswap. And let's say I'm traveling and I want to swap into some USDC, a stablecoin. First off, to access this service, I either have, or a service like this, I have Coinbase. I can go to coinbase.com or another centralized exchange. But again, I would need my ID. They may hold my funds for a few moments or days for security purposes, etc., or they might not be in my jurisdiction. The other thing, I can use MoneyGram and things like that, and they'll take a 10% cut on both sides. So if I'm sending money to someone, I pay a fee, and then the person receiving it also pays a fee to receive that money. And so, let's talk about these decentralized services. So for one, if I wanted to do that like currency swapping, I would access like a Uniswap, and I'd connect a wallet. Connecting a wallet is synonymous to logging in. And so I can log in with just a wallet. But how do I create a wallet? Well, it's just an application that you download on your phone or your browser extension. And as long as you have internet connection, I'm pretty sure all wallets are free. Now, and the other thing is that there's plenty of wallets to choose from. They essentially do the same thing. And now, if I wanted to swap a token, and let's say I was on the Ethereum network, and I wanted to go to like a stable coin. Ethereum, ETH to USDC. And let's say I wanted to do like, $2. It actually cost me more in gas fees to update the state, right? The gas fees in order to make the swap. If I were to go to do this on the base network, and I were to go from, it really doesn't matter, but ETH to USDC, and it was like around the same amount. The amount actually doesn't matter either. You can see that the gas fees are under a penny. So this is just one type of transaction that can happen on chain. But if this was sending money to your abuelita, if this was sending money to friends and family, if this was minting your deed on chain, if this was to file your taxes or to do some action on chain, which requires you to update the state, you'd want that to be as cheap as possible. And this also leads me to some of the other things about Base. And I'm going to wrap the video up because it's going over the time I wanted. But the world that Base is building is one where these transaction fees, you may not even experience them at all. With things like the Coinbase Paymaster, which allows developers to obfuscate the gas fee altogether. Right? And we have smart wallets that allow people to not have to worry about storing their private keys. And so, Base is building a global on-chain economy. I'll show you the mission here. An on-chain global economy that increases innovation, creativity, and freedom. We want over 1 billion users and a million builders on chain. And to do so, we are making the small tweaks. These are massive tweaks, actually. We're making these massive tweaks that together allow this to be created, this mission to be fulfilled. And there's 3 parts of this. The developer platform, which is Base, a place for you to deploy these smart contracts, an app ecosystem. So when developers create these apps, it's, when users go on Base, right? They're interacting with these apps and a large variety of these apps, and then a market, a place for people to, get access to liquidity and money, right? Because there's so much to do on chain today, and there's going to be a lot more tomorrow. So that is the non-technical first little appetizer on what Base is, and hopefully, if you are non-technical, that kind of makes sense, right? Base is a platform where I can access some applications. It's fundamentally Ethereum. It's called Ethereum. It's EVM equivalent. And so anyone who develops on Ethereum can port those smart contracts over to Base as well, and it should run the exact same.